Hi students, this week we're going to be talking about ethics and problems you may encounter with students. I know a lot of times we don't like to think about having issues with students, but it does come up and it's important for us to know as instructors to be prepared to deal with students who may be struggling or having issues with you, the course, your feedback. And so we're going to spend some time talking a little bit about how to handle that and what to expect. So when we talk about students, having issues with students, part of it could be classroom management. And I know we don't like to think about that when we talk about adults, but class management can be an important aspect. And sometimes students aren't focused. If you're in person, they may be distracted by their cell phones, being on the internet. So one suggestion I have that's worked really well is establishing class rules, right? So the very first week of school, having an opportunity to set some class norms, to talk to students about what's allowed, what's not allowed, phone calls, having them step outside the class to be able to take important phone calls, anything that will minimize the disruptions in class, right? The other piece that you talk about that you encounter will be emotional students, right? Students who are going through some things at home or personal or at work, and they become emotional, and that carries over to the class. So, how do you deal with that portion of students who get emotional, whether it's upset about something or just, not being able to focus? And then on the more extreme, we talk about, students who may be disturbed, right? Students who maybe or threaten you or upset about a grade you gave them. So they write things in their submissions that are of concern. So this can happen as well. So it's important that you as the instructor are prepared and understand what resources you have at your junior college or university in terms of reporting these kind of things. I know I've had students threaten, because they don't like the grade you gave them, or they may be upset because they feel that you are singling them out. So really making sure you have an opportunity and understand how to handle those situations, specifically the emotional ones that then become a little bit more serious and become more kind of in the dangerous kind of area of students who become mentally unstable and really can be dangerous to themselves or others, right? And so, again, they may threaten, they may physical harm, or they just may threat, via papers or emails. And so it is really important that we handle those in a responsible and timely manner. Ethics of teaching are important, and again, these are ethics that when we talk about them, we talk about them in terms of working with adults, right? And working in either a community college or university level. And so part of what we should always have is understand that these ethics of teaching are items that we should abide by, right? Whether it's encouraging the free pursuit of learning, right? Which is our primary role, demonstrating respect for students, respecting confidentiality is important. Modeling scholarly and ethical standards is always something you want to do. Fostering honest academic conduct, ensuring fair evaluations, and avoiding exploitation, harassment, and discrimination. Those are all important elements to be able to include and understand and abide by as you start teaching adults and start working with adults in a setting for teaching, ethics for teaching. So just wanted to make sure we covered those so you have an understanding of the ethics of teaching. So those are all roles that you'll have to kind of follow and mentor and be able to have and as you start teaching adults. So that process is something you should be able to model and be able to show and be able to abide by when you're working with students, adult students. So hopefully that was the short lecture for you guys this week, but specifically talking about an item that we don't always like to think about, but also really important. Okay, guys, have a great week. Take care.